Big Sam, who works here, a West Ham fan, he says Declan Rice has been the best and most consistent player this season. Declan Rice is a contender. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, he's been pretty good. What about Souček?
Souček must be a contender. Matthews tweeted saying Bruno Fernandes is the player of the season without question. Yesterday we did, last 15 games, Bruno Fernandes has been a passenger. So
you could say, but Maguire's been better than him.
Yep.
Over the season.
That's a great. Maguire will be in the team of the year. People are going to have to get used to this. He's going to be in the team of the year, and he is going to be on the shortlist for player of the year as well. People are going to have to get used to that.
He's going to be on the
fact.
shortlist.
Yeah.
But I say it's a shortlist, but he won't win it, but he'll be on the shortlist.
I do get a vote in the Football Writers Player of the Year, and I've been asked who I'm going to vote for. And listen, the season's not over yet. I don't have to vote yet, so it's still open. At the moment, I'd lean towards Mason Mount. That would be somebody. But Declan Rice is a good shout as well. Some people aren't happy with the Man City situation. Hasn't Gundogan been better than De Bruyne? What do you think?
What, over the season?
Okay, no, that's clearly no.
No.
James is a Liverpool fan. What do you want to say? James, you're on talkSPORT.
Evening, guys. Pleasure to speak to you again.
And to you as well. What do you want to say?
I'm a big fan of yours, Mr. Durham, but tonight I'm afraid the pedestal you're standing on is shakier than 2-day-old jelly.
Go on, why?
So you're saying Kelechi Iheanacho has scored 10 goals in the Premier League this season. So if you go by goals, how many goals has Mo Salah scored? 20.
I haven't just gone by goals at all.
No, okay. No, but you're then comparing him to Jesse Lingard. So Jesse Lingard has scored 9 goals, whereas Iheanacho, quite rightly, has 10. How many assists do Lingard and Iheanacho have each?
I'm not going by numbers, James. We were talking about the impact they've had since February, i.e. when they joined when Lingard joined West Ham and when Iheanacho started scoring. For me, it's about hang on a minute, it's about pound for pound impact that they've had at the club.
Well, Leicester have always been up there, though, haven't they? They've always been.
Yeah, but without Vardy's goals, they needed somebody else to step up, and he did.
What about the impact that Diaz has had at Man City then? He revolutionised their defence. What about the impact that Phil Foden has had in terms of stepping into David Silva's shoes?
Has Foden started enough games for that, though?
The only thing as well, the only thing I'd say about... Hang on a minute, well, just want to answer this one. The only thing, and I'm with you in a lot of this, right? I think Diaz has been absolutely amazing this year. But we could say the same last year with Manchester City. They don't defend much, let's be honest about it. Laporte last year went outstanding. Now he's not in the first choice centre-back pairing. It's Diaz and Stones, right? Stones been outstanding this year, except for the last 2 or 3 weeks. He just took his foot off the pedal. So it's hard to pick a Manchester City centre-back purely because they hardly defend, do they? But he has been brilliant.
That is actually a totally valid point. Totally valid point. What I would say about something you're saying about Kevin De Bruyne, you can't choose him just because he's the best player. Why have Messi and Ronaldo been winning the Ballon d'Or for the past 10 years? Shouldn't it go to then someone who has had a better cultural impact, a better all-round individual impact on a team rather than just who's the best player?
Absolutely. There's been several seasons where we've all looked at the Ballon d'Or and thought, really? Was it those two again?
They even cancelled it last year, so Lewandowski won't win it.
I think Sneijder back in, when was it, Inter Milan won the treble. He definitely should have won it that year. I mean, there's all sorts of years where you've thought, yeah, they've deserved it some of the time.
Saying that, Modric won it. Surprised everyone when he won it that year.
Fair play. But not enough. I mean, I don't think it's been shared around enough. But listen, fair play. I think you've got a point on defenders at Man City winning the Player of the Year. I think that's...
It's a difficult one to give it, purely because they do hardly defend it. They are so good. And you look at Laporte last season, everybody's saying, oh, game changer having Laporte at the centre-back. He's absolutely superb. And then suddenly this year, he's third choice. You know what I mean? And it's a difficult one to pick him as a Player of the Year, although he's been outstanding. A
lot of people tweeting and texting in. Luke Shaw's had a few mentions. Yuri Tielemans at Leicester has had a few mentions as well.
Been good.
Tom's a United fan. What do you think, Tom?
Hello, boys. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good. I mean, Iheanacho, listen, he's on a good run. But, you know, for you to say to replace Aguero, I mean, that is that's a long shot, isn't it? He scored 10 Premier League goals. This is the greatest foreigner to play in the Premier League up front, and then City going to replace him with him. I'd love that as a United fan.
Blimey. How disrespectful do you want to be? I mean, maybe he's just it's taking his time. I don't know if people know the Iheanacho story, but when he came over to Man City, when he was first signed,
they all wanted him.
Well, yeah, they did. But he came over, and I think it was in a February. I think I'm right in saying him and his dad came over. He had a training session. His dad disappeared because it was too cold. He said, I couldn't stay out there. It was far too cold. His dad went home, and he hasn't been back since because he couldn't handle the cold. Iheanacho came out with this a few weeks ago. And so he's had it tough. He's had a really tough time of it. As a youngster in another hemisphere where it's freezing cold, he's had a really tough time of it. And he's shown some real character and strength of character. And now his fantastic positive character is shining through at Leicester, and it's being rewarded on the pitch. You know, players develop. You're going on the Iheanacho of the last 3 or 4 years. Players develop, they grow, they mature, and maybe he's finally coming to fruit, and it's Leicester are benefiting, and why not? And you know, there's people are knocking it, but it'll give you all a wave from Wembley in the FA Cup final. Ian's a Leicester fan. What do you think, Ian?
Hi, Adrian. Adrian, I've never heard such numpties calling your Liverpool and Manchester. May I remind them that Iheanacho got into the Leicester team in February. Excuse me. He's played 14 games. He's got 14 goals. Thank you. You know, they're comparing him to Salah, who's played, 40-odd games. Or, you know, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. He was second to Vardy for a long, long time. He's got into the team now, first time, permanently, and look what he's done. And they're comparing him and they're knocking him, saying he's only got 10 Premier League goals. Quite ridiculous.
So you would have him as a contender?
Well, of course he's a contender. I mean, look at the impact he's made this season. We lost Vardy through injury.
Where were Leicester? Where were Leicester when he came into the side? Just answer the question. Where were Leicester when he came into the team?
Where they've been all season, third.
There you go.
Yeah, but they needed to stay there.
So what impacts he had?
They stayed there. And
he's
they got
played
to a cup
well
final.
As a pair. He's having a great run of it, and I'm pleased for him.
I'll tell you the
fantastic
impact
run.
He's had. Excuse me. I'll tell you the impact he's had. We lost Vardy through injury. All of you people said if Leicester lose Vardy, they won't score goals. And so we lost Vardy. We lost Barnes. And what happened? Iheanacho came in and he maintained us. He kept us going. He kept us in third place all these last few weeks. That's what he's done. That's the impact he's made.
But it's not enough. I agree.
People were saying Leicester's going to drop out.
But it's not enough to win the Player of the Year.
Be a contender.
Let's be realistic. It's not even to be a contender. You're not even mentioned Jack Grealish. How good's he been for Villa? Look, since he's been out of the side. Yeah. There's loads of players who have had good season, and I think it's disrespectful of those players when you start talking about Lingard and Iheanacho as Player of the Year who have played well for 2 months. It's embarrassing.
What do you think? This is talkSPORT.